What's going on, everyone? It's your friend, the neighborhood Elliott Waves guy here. Before I get into this video, please remember I am retarded. Everything I say should not constitute financial advice. This is my sole opinion to investing in this specific equity. Ignore everything I say. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's jump right into the video analysis. Actually, before I begin, to any of the OG sub, like the people that used to watch me years ago when I did flips, you'll be proud. I came into the GameStop scene. My name on Reddit is possibly Six because I don't know if Six was taken, but you know the memes live on. But yeah, you can kind of tell it through my voice, but I'm not feeling super well. But I went on a bender this weekend in Arizona, so to be expected. But with that out of the way, I'm gonna be talking about, I guess, just forecasting the next few days. I'm gonna try and keep the video kind of short. I always say that, but then it goes longer. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right in. So first of all, I would like to touch on the overall structure that's going on, and I'm gonna forecast like what I think is gonna happen because I have a pretty clear idea or hypothesis, if you will, of what I think is gonna happen. Obviously, nothing is ever 100%, but first of all, right. So starting from looking back, this was August 8th. When we first began impulsing again after this long period of sideways nothing. We're looking right here. Obviously we had our move up and then our move down, so wave 1, 2, but I don't think the 2 is complete yet, and I'm going to explain why just now. First of all, we did satisfy a wave 2 retracement target at 0.618% or 61.8%, and you can see right here, literally to the tick, like, you love to see it. But here's what I think is going to happen. So obviously, actually, let me just open do I have a new count that I can work with? Okay, this is like an alt version, but you know what? Let me just start a new one. Create new drawing set vid. Okay, so from here, first of all, if we're looking at the whole impulse, yada yada yada, right? There's your 0.618. That's just a potential end to wave 2. And so most new Elliott wave traders would be quick to call the bottom right here. I don't think the bottom is in just yet because remember your wave 2 is going to be subdivided by an A down and a B up and a C down. And so if you follow like what I've been tweeting on Twitter, I keep on emphasizing how this is the B wave of the ABC within a wave 2, right? So you'll have, just for illustration purposes, it'd be better on TradingView, right? But it'd be A, B, C. Now, I don't think it'll happen like this, but that's just for visualization purposes. So let's get into what I think will, happen. First of all, I like to point out this tiny little gap right here between, what is this, like 190.1 to 191.5. So it's like a 50-cent gap. But, I mean, I'll come back to that later, but it does tie into what I'm going to be talking about today. First of all, if we're looking at this, let me just label it. Right, so whatever, let's just say wave 1, and then you have an A down, B, I'm going to mark the B up here, and I'll show you why, and then C back down to here. So here's why I think this is what's going to happen. Looking at this, or your B wave, so, I'm sorry, coming down, your A, B, C, A down will be subdivision into 5, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. I'm not going to try and label it because it doesn't really matter per se. And then your B wave, which is going against the trend in this instance, will be 3 waves, right? So you'll have your 1, 2, 3, or A, B, and C. So we are currently in the C wave of the overarching B wave within a wave 2, if that makes sense. And so to get our targets of where we think this will end up, we go from the bottom of the B to the top of the subdivided B down to the low again, right? And we're looking for 1-to-1 parity or 1.618 to 1. And ready for it, 1-to-1 at 215. So that's where my 215 number has been coming from that I kept talking about today. And here is where it gets interesting, which this is all just spitballing, hypothetical, but if we look at the 1618, it actually comes out to the previous top we had at 231. And so my thinking is, I mean, obviously both are in play, but it would make sense if we were to push up, You know, double top here at 231, getting 1.618 to 1, A to C, this being the A wave here, B down, C up, an extended C. That would basically give us a double top right here. And so hypothetically, let's assume we come up back here to the 231 area. What we would do to see where the final C leg down would take us is we would measure the length of the entire A wave down, bring it up to here, and we're looking for one-to-one parity, which is voila, right here, right? So let me clean up the fibs a little bit so you can visualize it a bit better. But that's what's in play right now. I'm going to go intraday now, back to my other account. Sorry about this. It's kind of sporadic, if that's even a word, erratic. And let's try and subdivide what happened today and see if I can help you guys make some sense out of like what I was tweeting out in real time. God damn, dude, I can't breathe. This is so annoying. So, we can actually look at this move as a 5-wave impulse. Obviously, don't forget the overarching structure is, you know, we have A, B, C, but we can divide this into 5 to kind of give us an intraday count to check our levels and whatnot. And so just looking at it, you know, we can go something like, it'd be like a 1, 2, 3, 4 here. I'll label it out so it'll make a little bit more sense, but it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, wherever it ends up going. But right, let's see if we can kind of make this make sense. So if we measure low to high down to here, wave 3, right? 1.618 to 1. Perfect. Fucking perfect, dude. Like I've said this before, I've definitely said it a few times, but most common wave 3 target within a 5-wave impulse is 1.618 to 1. And like, you know, it doesn't get any better than that. You'll have to see it. And then in this instance here, this is something called, I think it's a running flat, but first of all, let's just see how we could have came up with our retrace targets. So we're going here, and then obviously 201.61 would be our wave 4 target, which, you know, borderline got it. But then we broke above, and then we came back down again. And so I don't know if any of you guys remember the day I called the 195 low, you know, it was like this, the same move. So down, up a little bit higher than this wave, then down again to form parity. So it would look something like, right, it was like this, and then we're looking for the 1-to-1. Yeah, right there, see? And so my original thinking intraday was that we would see that same pattern replicated, which would give us basically something like, it would give us the 1-to-1 at 203, I believe, right? Like right here, I thought, but we broke below that, and that was a signal that we could expect a little bit more downside. At least the 1-2-3-6, we did satisfy it, and so we are set to move up a bit higher, and then let's just assume hypothetically that was the low of the day, or the low of the 4. What we would do is we'd measure top of 3 down to low of 4, and see, this is where it gets interesting, right? You see how these targets line up, the 215 and the 215 again? I don't know. Like, we'll see. That's kind of where it's at right now. I don't think that this is the start of a new impulse just yet. I still think the way you're in the corrective phase of a wave 2, right, 1 up, 2 down. Now let me show you the Fib Time Extensions so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. Now, this is too confusing. Let me pull up the other view again because, you know, I don't want to give you guys too much of an aneurysm. So let's clear this. What was I going to do? Right. So we'll take our Fib Time Extensions, and most of the time we'll see, so this is, we're measuring the length of wave 1, and 9 times out of 10, we will see the wave 2 end at the 0.618 or the 0.786. This is most common. There's no rule that says it has to complete at those. Like, as you can see here, you could make an argument that we have already started impulsing because we did satisfy a time extension. Granted, it's only the 0.236, but we did satisfy a time extension. Now, historically, though, if we look at all of GME cycles, the low here to the high here, right? Here you go, 0.786 marked the end of the down period there. And then again, if we look at the recent one, to the low to the high, this is a wave 1, and then the whole down period was a 2, and lo and behold, right, 0.786 marked the end of the down period. And so using that historical analysis alone makes me think that what we're going to see is it's going to go something like A, B, C down to here, and that would, end right around this time right here. This is 922, 921, 922, basically the same thing. And then you have 917 as the other possible turn date. I mean, if you want, like, just look at the dates on screen here to try and, like, see where I'm coming from. Obviously I don't really care. Like, it'll happen when it happens, but I'm just trying to make sense of the movements intraday, trying to predict the algorithm, because whenever my predictions do pan out to be correct, it gives me confidence that, I don't really care too much about my personal analysis, because I know that this stuff works. I do trade other stuff, and this is like my primary method of trading, and it works. It works really, really well for me. But when it does work on GameStop, it instills confidence in me, because I can more or less have an idea of how the algorithm works, and seeing that Elliott waves are coded into the Citadel shorting algorithm, it's cool, because I can I see what the algorithm sees to try and predict turning points before they happen. Real quick before I sign off, let's just assume we end at 215 instead of like the 230 target I was talking about. So again, measure the down period up to here. We're looking for 1-to-1 parity. This would bring us down to 160. I don't know. We have to see where we reject first, but just keep an eye out. If we do blow through this level 215, expect us to reject like the 230.5, 231 area. But yeah, that about covers what I wanted to talk about. I'll make a new video going over what I expect after we hit one of these levels. But that's just what I'm looking for the next few days. Not financial advice, but I would not recommend playing options, just because you're effectively funding Citadel. Like when you pay the ask, they're just pocketing that cash, and then they're gonna use it to short the stock. So keep that in mind. I'm gonna go drink some tea and pound some more, not Dayquils, but yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you in the next video. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling, but yeah, peace.